Hello friends, this video on respiration in plants part 15 is brought to you by examfear.com. No more fear from exam. ATP. So let us look at this animation. So here we have magnified the inner membrane. So this is the inner membrane, this is the matrix. This pink colored area is the matrix and this is the intermembrane space. So that means beyond this is the outer membrane. Clear? So this part is clear. Now when we talk about the Krebs cycle or the glycolysis, forget about glycolysis. Glycolysis occurs in cytoplasm. When you talk about the pyruvate oxidation or the Krebs cycle, they all happen here. That is in the matrix. So Krebs cycle happen here. So it happens in the matrix. So that means all the products of the Krebs cycle are present in the matrix. And one of the product of the Krebs cycle is NADH. Correct? So now we will look at the NADH pathway with the help of this video. Okay? So here this one is complex 1. This one is complex 3. This one is complex 4 and this one is complex 5. Complex 5 is nothing but ATP synthase enzyme. Right? And what are these? This is coenzyme Q, which is the mobile electron carrier, and this is cytochrome C. Clear? So now we see all the complexes are in place, and this NADH, which is a product of the Krebs cycle, is also present in the matrix. So now what is going to happen at the start of the electron transport system? This NADH will gradually go and bind to complex 1. As soon as it binds to complex 1, it will release electrons and protons. Now the protons which it releases will go to the intermembrane space, as you can see here. So the protons will get carried to the intermembrane space. And what happened to the electrons? Just now we saw that the electrons were carried through all of these. If you want to view it once again, let's see that. As soon as NADH binds with complex 1, it will give out 2 electrons and 1 proton. Proton will go to the intermembrane space. Electrons will pass through coenzyme Q, complex 3, cytochrome C, then complex 4. And finally, these 2 electrons will be finally accepted by the final electron acceptor, which is oxygen. So what will oxygen do? Oxygen will bind with an electron pair and hydrogen ions to form water molecule. So this will form water molecule. Now since we know that oxygen is diatomic in nature, that means oxygen is basically O2, that is 2 atoms of oxygen are there. So 1 atom of oxygen will bind with 2 electrons. So for 2 atoms of oxygen to bind, it needs 4 electrons. So again, when more electrons are pumped in through when more electrons reach air through all these complexes, so these electrons along with all the H plus ions will join together to form water molecule. So that is how the electrons are finally getting accepted by the oxygen here. Right? So please try to understand that in order to form water by O2, so if O2, which is, let me write it here. So O2, which is diatomic, now O2 wants to form water. So for that, what all it needs, since O2 is diatomic, that is 2 atoms of oxygen. So for this, it requires 4 electrons and it also requires 8 H plus. Now 8 H plus is also present. Now in order to form water, how many it utilizes? It utilizes 4 electrons and 4 H plus. Correct? So remaining 4 H plus is again pending here. So what happens to those remaining 4 H plus ions, that is the proton ions? They are again passed on to the other side of the membrane. That is, they are all passed on to this side of the membrane. So if you see, gradually like this, the concentration of the hydrogen ions will increase in the intermembrane space when compared to the matrix. Right? So how is the concentration of hydrogen ions increasing on this side of the membrane? By 2 ways. One is when NADH is binding with complex 1, it is releasing H plus ions. That is one way. The second way is when oxygen binds with hydrogen ions and electrons to form a water molecule, some hydrogen ions are left over. So those leftover hydrogen ions are also carried to the intermembrane space. So that ways the concentration of the hydrogen ions on the outside of the membrane, that is in the intermembrane space, is increasing. So the proton gradient is formed. So now you can see how the proton gradient is formed. Now once the proton gradient is formed, it causes ATP synthesis to get activated, and that is how ATP will be produced. So this complex 5 is nothing but the ATP synthase enzyme, right? So what will happen now? Here the concentration is high and here the concentration is low. So this is the F0 part of the ATP synthase enzyme, and this is the F1 part. So this F0 acts as a channel through which the H plus ions can actually travel and they can come this side. So basically the concentration gradient is breaking down. So here I have just shown that 2H plus is coming in, but actually it is not 2H plus. All the H plus will start to move here. In order to avoid confusion, I have just shown 2H plus. Now these 2H plus, as soon as they reach the matrix, the energy that they have, this energy will be utilized to develop a bond between inorganic phosphate and adenosine triphosphate. Whenever you want to create bond or whenever you want to form bond, you need to supply energy. So that energy is supplied by these two protons, that is these two H plus ions, and as a result a bond will be formed between ATP and phosphate, and all these together will form ATP. So that means in order to form one molecule of ATP, you need two H plus ions, and that is how ATP gets synthesized. So I hope that the process is clear now. So if you want, we can just view it once again. So see, this is how it happens. NADH, which was formed as a result of Krebs cycle, it interacts or binds to complex 1. It releases 2 electrons and 1 H plus. H plus moves to the intermembrane space. Electrons pass through these chain of electron carriers. Finally, it is accepted by the final electron acceptor, which is oxygen. Oxygen combines with the electrons and the hydrogen ions to form water. This process continues, and as this process continues, more and more hydrogen ions are pumped into the intermembrane space. Now, as more and more hydrogen ions are pumped into the intermembrane space, this gives rise to a concentration gradient. So this is how a concentration gradient is formed. Now, once a concentration gradient is formed, ATP synthase gets activated. So breakdown of gradient happens as hydrogen ions start to move across the enzyme, and this energy which is utilized when the breakdown of gradient occurs is utilized for the synthesis of ATP. So this is how ATP synthesis actually takes place. So now you know why mitochondria is called the powerhouse of the cell, because ATP is produced in mitochondria, right? Now just think for a while what would happen if oxygen is not there. So now you understand the significance of aerobic respiration. Aerobic respiration means respiration in presence of oxygen. So you might be wondering that in step 1, 2 and 3, whether it is glycolysis or it is pyruvate oxidation or it is Krebs cycle, we did not see much use of oxygen. But here we actually see that oxygen is playing an important role. So how important it is? Let us suppose had there been no oxygen. In that case, what would have happened? In that case, there would have been nobody to accept the electrons. So the electrons would have there would have been no outlet for the electrons rather. So all the carriers of electrons here which are present in the chain, they would have all remained reduced. So when there would have been no electron transport, there would have been no development of proton gradient. When there is no proton gradient, there is no ATP synthesis. And if there is no ATP synthesis, obviously the organism is going to die. So without oxygen being there, this process of electron transport cannot continue, because oxygen, by absorbing the electron, is actually clearing the way for the electron carriers to be reoxidized so that the electron transport system can continue. So oxygen plays a very important role in this type of respiration. And now you will see that it is this step of respiration which actually helps you to generate so many ATP molecules. Otherwise, in glycolysis, you could generate only 2 molecules of ATP, right? So the main bulk of ATP molecules generation happens in this step, that is electron transport system. Thank you. Please visit www.examfear.com to watch more videos, attempt free online test, get free study material, find tutors and mentors. Thank you once again.